Welcome everybody to the regular meeting of the Board of Metropolitan Police Commission for Whitestown. It is Tuesday, March 2nd, 2021, 7 p.m. If we would please, we'll do roll call. And Bill, are you there? Can you hear me? This is an unusual roll call.
Yeah, I can hear.
He's here.
Okay. And Kevin Foley? Here.
Here, I had to unmute myself, sorry.
Eric Nichols?
Here.
John Nixon?
Here.
Susan Austin, and Chair finds a quorum. If we would all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America,
to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice
for all.
Thank you very much, Glenn. I'm gonna go off script here. Would you all please join me in a moment of silence to remember Deputy Jake Pickett tonight? Today is the anniversary of the great loss that our community has had with Jake. And I would like for all of us to just take a moment to remember him. Thank you all. I know that I can speak for everybody when I say our thoughts and prayers are with Jen and the kids and the entire family and our Boone County Sheriff's Department family and all of our officers in blue when we have a situation like this. So in light of that, thank you all for joining us tonight and for making sure that we take care of the best of our blue and we do the best we can for our boys in blue. So let's go to item C. If anyone, I would entertain a motion to approve the meeting agenda if there are no changes.
Make a motion, Eric Nichols.
Eric's made a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Kevin Foley. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
And raise your hand so they can see. Make it a little easier on Jody. Sorry, Johnny, you raising your hand?
I am.
Bill, are you raising your hand? Okay, everybody
Yes,
did.
yes.
Motion carries. Okay. Meeting agenda is approved. I also would entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the prior meetings.
I would make a motion that we
Approve the previous meeting.
approve the prior meeting notices.
John made a motion.
I'll second.
Kevin Foley seconds. All in favor signify by saying aye. And John, raise your hand.
Yes, aye.
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 Motion carries. I think Bill raised his hand too, so we're good on that.
I did.
That gets us through this part, and now is our public request to speak. And I assume that means we have Major Brian Stevenson with us to take the floor.
Well, I got to tell you, I went the entire day without tearing up until now. So all I can say is thanks a lot, Susan.
Sorry.
All joking aside, thank you so much for that. That means so much to me and to everyone. As always, I want to thank the commissioners for allowing me to speak to you whenever I'm here. I have some updates from our communications center. We recently just released a new hire that had completed her what we call field training, and so she's up and running, doing a fantastic job. We just had a new communications officer that started last week. So she is just at the beginning phases of her training. So we're excited to get her up and going. And we have 3 that are currently in a process. So we are hopeful that actually 3 positions, and we're currently holding a process. We're very hopeful that once we get the next 3 in there, we'll be good to go for a while in dispatch. We have been working with our command vehicle that we have. We've been working with that with our communications officers. So starting last year, we started doing some testing using that vehicle in the event that we have to evacuate the jail. We have trained for many years on evacuating inmates and our staff, but up until just a couple years ago, we really didn't have a lot of close options when it came to evacuating our communications officers. We had a location in Thorntown. We also have a location in Zionsville that we could go to, but in that interim of evacuating, whether it's a gas leak or a fire or earthquake, whatever the case may be, there was going to be a lot of downtime, and it was not going to be a good situation for us all. So we have equipped our command vehicle now that we can get it right up to the sheriff's office. They can walk outside the building and immediately get into that command vehicle, and they have the same equipment in the vehicle that they do down in dispatch center. So we are really excited about that testing we've been doing. In fact, last week when we sprayed the jail, the entire sheriff's office with some cleaner, disinfectant, they had to get out for a while. So it was a perfect chance for us to do some more testing. We actually had some comments from officers on the road from all agencies that told us they didn't even know we were out of the dispatch center. We were operating from the command vehicle. So it was a huge success. We're going to continue to do that with our officers, probably quarterly, maybe twice a year, just so they're aware and familiar and keep training that way. So we're really excited about that. Very soon, the sheriff's office is going to be going with a program, an app called Safer Watch. I'm not sure. I can't remember if I have spoken about that to you commissioners or not. So give me that yay or nay. If I've already talked about it, there's no reason for me to talk about it again.
I'm not sure.
Sounds familiar, but not familiar enough that we couldn't use a refresh.
All right, got you, no problem. It's just another tool for citizens to put in their toolbox. And it was invented by a father of one of the kids that were killed down in Florida in the school shooting years ago. And basically what it is very user-friendly. It's just another way for them to communicate with 911. What's great about this app is that you can send a live video picture of some sort of suspicious activity going on, and it immediately goes into our dispatch center. And so we have the information exactly what's going on at the time of the notification. Now, someone could also notify us of some things that aren't necessarily an emergency. For instance, some drug dealing going on at a house. And we have already communicated with the different agencies, including Whitestown, on who we should be sending that information to whenever we get it. So we're really excited about this. We have a few more things to do on our end before we push out a media release. And so what we would ask is that, whenever you see that on our social media page, if you would push it out to the folks that follow you, that would be fantastic. But it's a free app, Android, Apple, all that good stuff. So something we're really excited. Just like I said, another tool that people can use to notify 911 of suspicious activity. Lastly, the sheriff's office is in the process of purchasing 10 license plate readers. We're going with a company called Flock Safety, and we are putting those in on the main thoroughfares, state roads throughout the county at our county lines. For instance, we're putting one at 267 at the county line. We're putting one 39 north, 39 south, 47 east, 47 west. You get the gist. But we're really excited about this program. Zionsville Police has already been on board and they're active. I've spoken with some other agencies, and this is the new thing. And what we are excited about is a couple different reasons. You can be proactive with this program, and whenever someone is wanted or has a stolen vehicle and comes into your county, it can alert people that are designated for it to alert. And then you can go after these people. But what I really like about this program is if we have a major event, and hopefully this never ever happens again, but for instance, if we have a homicide here in Boone County, we now know who is in our county at the time when these events happen. And if they're coming into our county just before the event, we have that license plate. So it's a fantastic tool, both to be proactive, but then also to help us solve some crimes. And so we're really excited about that. So as far as the sheriff's office goes, that's all I have. And if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to entertain them.
Anybody have anything for Major Stevenson? Thank you so much for coming down and, joining us via Zoom, coming down and getting us up to speed on what's going on. We appreciate that.
Yeah,
you're
good
very
stuff.
welcome.
It's all good stuff. And it sounds like everybody's working really well in cooperation with each other and sharing many of the tools so that we're all on the same page.
Well, I
Which
got to
is
tell you, if you've been in Boone County your entire life, this has kind of been the norm. Our agencies are very good at communicating with each other. You don't find that everywhere. And it's not until you go outside of Boone County that you realize that this is unique, and it just doesn't happen. So we're very blessed and we're very lucky to have the partnerships that we do.
It's great. Anybody have anything else? Well, thank you.
I just would thank the officer for giving us the updates, but also our condolences, obviously, for the sheriff. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. That truly means a lot to us.
Thank you. This is,
I'm going to jump in one more time.
Sure.
If you don't have any questions, if you don't mind, I'm going to jump off. My daughter is cheering for a basketball game tonight, so I'm going to go be a good dad. So thanks for having me. Check one more time if you don't have any other questions for me.
I think we're all good on that.
All right. It's great to see you all again. Thanks again. I'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks much. Bye,
care.
Dad.
All right. Bye-bye.
This is also the portion in our agenda that if there has been anyone who has requested to speak from the public and submitted any questions in advance that is not covered by the other topics, now is the time to have those questions submitted and answered. Glenn, do you have anything? Did anyone request to speak?
At this moment, no. No one's requested to speak or chat, either one.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's go on then with the agenda. And Scott, you want to take it?
Okay, thank you, commissioners. First off, I've got the monthly report for February. And of course, we are continuing to be safe. We are going to be opening the building back up just as the town hall is here in another week. However, we don't have that many walk-ins. Mostly, if that is the case, it's for a gun permit, and they generally call ahead on those. One of the exciting things that we've done over the past month is open up a satellite office for the prosecutor's office. We had an extra space up in investigations. So what that has allowed, I spoke with Prosecutor Kent Eastwood. They were very excited to have the opportunity to have a place to come down here on the south part of the county and have a place to work. They have a lot of prosecutors from Zionsville, but better than that is it gives our detectives a place where they can just go right next door and talk to a prosecutor if they have a question on a case. It also allows our road units to meet a lot of the prosecutors. So currently there's 4 of them that are working out of here. A lot of times it's just a half a day. Eventually, this could turn into a full-time with one particular prosecutor being here all the time. But we're just kind of playing it out right now and see how it works out. And so far, it's worked out pretty well for us. Moving on to the hiring process, Chris Anderson was sworn in as a full-time PSO back on February 15th. As you recall, he was a reserve with us prior to that. And you probably saw on social media and maybe other outlets, but we opened up a lateral hiring process. We still have 2 spots to fill, and we will be doing interviews on those next week. The 3 we discussed last month, they will be starting next Monday on the 8th, and we have a patrol school that we're going to put them through. Some of them will be done with that in about 2.5 weeks. Some of them could be in it as much as 4 weeks, depending on how much experience they have. Officer Klinger was promoted to sergeant back on February 21st. Again, thank you for approving that last month. As far as stats go, case reports were down slightly. January was actually a very busy month for us. So no big shocker there. Whenever, calls for service were down. And whenever those are down, case reports and arrests are also generally down. Reserve hours, happy to report we still had 147 reserve hours in February. So that's they've stepped up, especially with two of our officers getting injured and being off duty, being on light duty, I should say. The reserve division has stepped up for us. Investigations continues to be busy, and the training division, you're probably noticing that we're doing a lot more training than we used to, and that will continue. Everybody in the entire department, including myself, did a courtroom testimony class that was online. Sergeant King has started doing ballistic shield training. We bought 2 of those last year. I believe we are the only department in the county that has those for the road guys usage. So we're training everybody on how to use those. When they come in, they can grab one, throw it in the back of their truck. So we have 2 currently out and about all times. And Sergeant King also let me know that these are a little heavier duty than the ones the SRT team has. Is that correct, Jacob? So we've offered it up to them if they need it for anything that they might be taken care of. So physical tactics, we're continuing to do that once a month. Any questions on the monthly reports?
No, Chief, you touched on Officer Root and the other officer that were injured. How are they doing?
They're doing well. They're both on light duty, and they are improving. We don't have any timetable on when they will be back to full duty, but they are both starting to feel a little bit better. And I had them both in here today in our records room, and they were trying to put things in order, and they weren't real happy about that, but that's what they're doing right now. So they're both eager to get back to regular work. That's for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Good deal.
Thank you.
So if no one has anything there, we don't have anything under old business. Under item A for new business, consideration of a purchase exceeding $5,000. This is the laser shot simulator. And I just listed the laser shot simulator. Last year, back in October, you'll recall that we did a simulator proposal that included 2 quotes at that time. If we're going to do this at all, laser shot's the one we need to go with, quite honestly. I had Sergeant King get on this meeting in case anyone does have any questions for it. But if you reread the proposal as I did today, he spells it out pretty clearly on what we're trying to accomplish with this purchase. We all believe it's going to be a great benefit for the department in a multitude of ways, and just allow us to train that much more. Not only the department, but once we get back to being more normal life and can have a citizens academy, it will be a huge asset when it comes to that. So if anyone has any questions in particular about the system, I will open that up to Sergeant King to take those.
Yeah, Sergeant King, just a brief overview of how it works would be awesome. And what your thoughts are.
Yeah, so
simulator is something I've had my eye on for the last couple of years due to about 4 or 5 years ago, us along with some other departments rented one. And we saw great value in the training that it provided, but due to the number of officers that did the training, we only had about 15 to 20 minutes per officer in the training. But through that time, and then, you know, we get to see a simulator in the academy for a very brief time as well. But every time we've stepped in front of one, we've noticed the value and the you know, wide range of training that it provides. And just to name a few of those is, you know, you can do everything from basic to advanced firearm tactics with this. You know, you can practice shoot, no shoot situations, and you can practice just basic communication skills, which is very hard to simulate in any type of training. And then verbal de-escalation. There's over 1,000 scenarios on this training simulator that you can work de-escalation, which verbal de-escalation is very important, but it's a tough time to train. It's tough to train with just officers. You know, we're not actors, so it's hard to do these type of scenarios, and they're your buddy that you're training with. So working through those, and you have a proctor that puts on the simulator and can communicate, act as dispatch. So those are very valuable tools, especially those last two. This is something we can do year round, being inside. And then it's in a controlled environment. It's safety regulated. So I believe it's a very valuable tool. And then speaking with some of the other departments that have this simulator and some other ones, is even schools that have it, and then other departments, they see their Citizens Academy, their teen academies, it's their favorite thing that they do going through it. It gives civilians a good input or good look at what we do on a day-to-day. And they're not going to go through the same training we do, because there's tactics and there's stuff, and it can get kind of gory, but there's a lot of different areas that civilians can go through to get a gist of it. And I believe it'd be a great tool for our officers that we can do year round on duty in a controlled environment. That will only enhance our training and our officers.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Chief, do we have a dedicated space for this? Do you know?
So that we do, but the nice thing about this system is we can move it wherever we want. So the large area that we have right above my office that is 6,700 square foot of nothing, that's probably primarily where we'll use it. But we can throw it in the DT room, and instead of saying I'm going to go hands-on now, Jacob can be laying on the floor and the officer can go hands-on with them. So we can kind of use it in a multitude of ways. We can use it in the stairwells. We can use it out in the sally port, just really wherever we want to use it around.
Elevator shaft.
Yes.
And that's one of the biggest things that I liked about this type of simulator is it can be set up in 5 minutes. It's portable. You know, a lot of them, you have to anchor it from a ceiling. You have to have a designated area. This can be moved and set up very quickly.
Awesome. Chief, and I just blanked if I remember correctly, and without having to read it again, just so the public, if there's any watching, we allocated funds for this last year. Is this close to the funds we allocated?
We did. Last year's quote actually included taxes. So the price actually went down slightly, but I have earmarked encumbered funds for this purchase.
I'd make a motion to approve the purchase.
I'd second.
Do we have a not to exceed?
What's our current?
It's 34.5. You can just say 34.5. We won't
Just say 34.5.
Yeah, not to exceed 34.5.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Everyone who's in favor signify. Well, is there any other discussion on this?
The only discussion I would have is I used them in the military and it's great. Same systems. They were fantastic.
I think it would be great to show the public too, especially, you know, de-escalation's become such a hot topic, to be able to show what the different training our officers can go through. So I think this is fabulous. So with that,
I think it's a very pro.
One more question. Chief, does anyone else in the county currently possess?
No one has a simulator in the entire county. Lebanon used
So
to
that's
have one.
something we could use to maybe bring other agencies over.
Well, yeah, we will definitely train with the other agencies on this and allow them to come train and trade out. You know, we go up to the range at Lebanon. So I think it's a nice thing for us to offer up for them since we utilize their range currently. But yeah, we love to train with the surrounding agencies for sure. And this will be included in that.
Thank you.
Okay, so are we ready to vote? All in favor, signify by saying yes and raising your hand. Kevin
Yeah.
Foley, yes. Eric Nichols, yes. Bill Fletcher, yes. John
Yes.
Nixon,
Yes.
yes. And Susan, yes. Motion carries 5-0. Send that on to council for inclusion in the consent agenda, please.
Will do. Item B, consideration of a purchase exceeding $5,000. This is the Flock Safety LPRs. Surprisingly enough, you got to hear about this already through Major Stevenson. Like he said, they've purchased 10. I think they are just in an implementation stage, but Zionsville has 10 as well. I'm only looking for 4 at a price of $11,000, and that's $250 for the initial implementation fee. And then it's $2,500 per camera per year afterwards. I thought the 4 was a good way for us to get started and see how they work out. But the very, very neat thing about this system is we'll sign an MOU with the other departments, and it allows us to share the information. It's not just we have these 4. So as you know, if Zionsville has something, or if we have something, or the county, there's a good chance they're going through all 3 jurisdictions. And this is just a way for us to work with the other departments a lot better. We can always add on to it later, or if it doesn't work out for whatever reason in 2 years, we would be in this for 2 years. We could nix it at that point. Again, back in October, I put this in front of you with a price tag of 10 of them, and that was $27,000. I'm only asking for 11 at this point to cover the 2 years. So the money is there in the 401 line item. But I think you got to hear a little bit about what these things do. I don't, and I gave you paperwork on them as well. So any questions as far as the system, and I can try to explain the best I can.
Yeah, Chief, you said that this covers both years.
No.
From what I'm looking at, it's $2,500 per camera per year, correct?
Yes, this only covers 1 year.
Yeah, okay. That's that.
Yeah.
I may have misheard, but I thought you stated this would cover both years.
11,000 this year, 10,000 next year, and then 10,000 a year after, as long as we only keep 4. Obviously, I'd like to have more than 4. I'm only asking for 4 right now. With our size, you know, say we put this on Main Street and the Parkway. Well, that's at least 2 cameras to cover that intersection. You can't cover it with 1 because, you know, the crossways. So, but the other neat thing is I've got several different businesses that have already asked about LPRs, and if we have them, and they are wanting to purchase some as well. So it'd be I'd tell them talk to Flock Safety, for instance.
Would those be integrated into our system?
They would, a little bit different, but in a way, yes, they would.
So there would be some safe.
That'd be more of an as needed basis at that point, I do believe, but I'd have to, without getting into that and the legal aspects with Flock Safety and how they have MOUs with us, whether that's a business or a neighborhood, for instance, but it has been done in other locations.
One more question. Didn't we just once again discuss this in the fall or maybe late winter and had encumbered funds enough to more than cover both years? Why we've got the motion and the funds available, even if we cover both years, we're still out less than what we'd already planned on in those funds.
Well, that's a possibility. I think right now I'd rather just do the 11, quite honestly. And then at the end of the year, I could probably get them to bill us a little early, or we would just re-encumber for next year as well. But I really don't know if there's a need to go ahead and pay for full tilt right now for the 2 years, unless just that's something you guys would like me to do.
We have the funds. I mean,
Right.
it's not like you're drawing a ton of interest on that money. So,
Well, we've
I
got
just
it now,
read-
though. We might want to hold on to it for a bit in case we decide to add more later in the year. That's an option too.
Also, although it's highly unlikely, in the event that, we've got an agreement with these folks, and in the event that they breach some term of it, and we want to, and it gives cause to terminate the contract, it's easier to not have to claw that money back. So from a legal side of things, I'd be in favor of holding on.
Thanks, Alex. Then I'll make a motion that we approve $11,000 for such cameras for a 1-year time.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Eric seconds. Bill made the initial. Any other discussion regarding this? Then all those in favor signify by saying aye. Raise your hand.
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Jody, I hope that helps you. Okay.
Item C, review and approve the K9 lease agreement. I got with Alex on this and he wrote this up for us. Essentially, starting Monday, March 8th, Michael Heitman, Frank Wolf, and Whitney Lucian will be starting. Whitney Lucian is the one who is coming to us from Tipton County. He owns his own K9 from there. And actually, well, he owns it. It has nothing to do with Tipton County, but he used it as a working dog up there in Tipton County. He's certified. The dog's certified. What this does is it just takes the liability away while he's working. We would lease it. I believe it says for $1 a year. The department will pick up his vet, his food, and all the other housing requirements as we do for our current dogs. But this is just a way for us to basically utilize a great thing. We never expected something like this to happen where a new employee would come to us with this opportunity. So it's taking advantage of that situation. He has already looked this over and has no issues with it as well. So what I'm moving for tonight is you all to approve it. And then starting Monday, I can get this signed off on. And then he's going to start training with our guys. Obviously, he's going to go through FTO without a dog. And then we would put him on the road working with our one or both of our other handlers to make sure that they are good with the way he operates his canine before we put him out there on his own. So
do we have knowledge of what it's going to cost to vest, or what's our cost going to be? I understand it's a $1 lease, and I'll definitely make a motion to approve that. I think that's a steal. Just wondering what the cost we're going to encumber.
Well, you're talking vet and dog costs or dog food throughout the year. The vet bills can change depending on what goes on there. For instance, if we were to put on another dog on our own, I think the cost is anywhere from $25,000 to $30,000 once you have the cost of the animal itself.
Right.
To outfit a car with the equipment, which we are incurring some costs there because we're going to outfit another car. But we're saving on that $10,000 to $15,000 for the price of the dog itself, not sending someone to 8 weeks of training and taking them off the road. So I couldn't give you a number what it's going to cost us.
But the savings is the substantial savings.
Mhm.
And time, for sure. Yes.
Thank you.
Chief, can I ask how old the dog is now?
The dog's
Do
a
you
little
know?
over 2.
Okay, so he's got years
Can't
in him.
ask the
Good plenty of
question.
time.
Yeah, we're sitting good as
What
far as that goes. It's
life
not an old dog by any stretch.
That's about the same age as the ones we have currently.
It is.
Awesome.
Thanks, Jody. Well, I would go ahead and make a motion to approve the
Hang on.
$1.
Bill,
lease.
hang on. John had a question.
Hang on.
I I was just asking what the current life of a working dog would be. I know the dog is approximately 2 years old currently, and how long can we expect the dog to work before retirement?
I would assume, barring anything majorly happening, I think most of the time they get anywhere from 6 to 8 years out of working police dogs, sometimes more.
Okay, wonderful.
Knocking on my door. So do we have a motion then? Or any other questions?
I will re-motion that we approve the dollar lease
Okay,
of said puppy.
do we have a second?
I would second.
John seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye.
I
Johnny, you're raising your hand?
I am.
Okay. Motion carries 5-0. And back to Chief.
Okay, thanks once again. Other business, we already went over items B and C having to do with Sergeant Klinger's promotion and PSO Anderson's start date. The only thing I wanted to bring up, this has been brought up before, but as far as our Lexipol, which is our general orders, and Commissioner Nichols can speak towards this. I think Commissioner Nichols, I brought this up last month when you were gone, but we had discussed before about getting everybody access to these once again, but actually signing off on that you've all read them. So what I was wanting to do is in the next week or so, I will have Captain Yurkosh send you all the link to where you can start signing in. But I would like to discuss like a time frame. I don't want to just send this out and you log on, and then in 6 months I see that nobody's done approved any of them. So I'd like to put some kind of time frame on it, but I want to just discuss that as I don't want that to be just coming from me. I would think something in the neighborhood of 6 months to get them all done could be easily doable and wouldn't put you out too much. But it's something you're going to have to get on once a week and, do 10 or 15 of them, which wouldn't take all that much time, to be quite honest. So just maybe open up some discussion about that and what you guys think is appropriate.
I think that would match my experience. I think 6 months gives plenty of time, and it's, some of them are short and some are long. And so you kind of scatter them, but I think in a week and probably sit down an hour a week and you knock them out probably in 3 months, if not certainly within 6 months. But I think I found it extremely valuable, and I've still got some I'm going through, but I found it extremely valuable going through and reading the orders that the officers are all judged against and work under, right? There's a lot of stuff in there that even having come from 20 years in the public safety field, a lot of stuff in there that just now I know, what the officers are held to, what are the certain standards, and there's some pieces in there that you wouldn't guess off the top of your head, right? I think it's made it a lot better and informed me a lot more whenever we're thinking about, reviewing officer conduct, or even what are they going through on a daily basis and thinking through on a daily basis.
And there is an app for it as well. So, if you're at a appointment and waiting to get in, you can jump on there. It's not all just sitting in front of your computer. It's easier to read them, quite honestly, but you don't have to do it that way. So either way, I'll get those sent out, and we can, if you have any issues getting logged on, by all means, get with me, and I will have the captain look into any of that, and we'll move forward with the general orders.
Great. Chief, why don't you add a check-in to future agendas so
Okay.
that we can see how everybody's doing and if there are any questions. Likely, if there are questions, there might be the same question from all of us.
Perfect.
Well, and that's another good point to go with that is as you go through them, there are sometimes questions. And I was fortunate enough since I was on the review committee, I had officers to ask as we went through. But sometimes you read through them and you're like, I don't quite know why this is set up this way. I think it's a good opportunity for that. Exactly your point there, Susan.
And it's not to second guess, but for us to have a better understanding.
Perfect. Well, we will get that sent over. And with that, I do not have anything else for the evening.
Does anybody else have anything? Then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I would make a motion that we adjourn tonight's meeting.
John made that motion. Bill Fletcher's seconding it while he's on silence. And all those signify by saying aye and raising your hand.
Aye.
John is raising his hand. I can tell through my phone.
I am.
So everyone go have a good evening. Stay safe. And thank you very much, Chief, for another great update.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Thank